Coke is probably the most famous carbonated drink in the world. But do you know its dark secrets? Coca-Cola spends billions on advertising but never blatantly sells its products. Instead, they promote joy, harmony, and friendship. But critics say it's a cover for the company's role in exploitation, obesity, and so much more. In today's video, brace yourself for a journey through Coke's incredibly dark secrets. The beginning. In the 1880s, people used home remedies and resisted doctors. This means that dishonest entrepreneurs made potions and elixirs that were possibly dangerous and ineffective chemical mixtures. Obviously, these products were unregulated, and one of the more popular products was the Vin Mariani, a patent medicine with coca wine created by a French chemist. It was even said that drinking 3 glasses of Vin Mariani would cure almost any illness you have. And John Pemberton absolutely loved this drink. As a severely wounded war veteran, doctors gave him morphine to ease his pain. He got addicted to morphine, which led to his Vin Mariani addiction. He thought it helped him quit morphine. After drinking it, Pemberton felt better, but not because it was medicinal. It simply had cocaine and wine. So Pemberton, also a chemist, made his concoction. He called his product French wine coca, which basically was a Vin Mariani ripoff. The beverage's caffeine source was the African cola nut. However, when Georgia passed prohibition legislation later that year, Pemberton responded by creating a carbonated, non-alcoholic version of his French wine coca. Because of the ingredients coca and cola, the reformulated beverage became Coca-Cola. The company later said the name was an alliteration. Still, it's too much of a coincidence that Coke's formula contained cocaine. It will be by 1929 that the company removed all active cocaine from coca leaves after realizing it wasn't a miracle drug after all. But in the 1880s, sales were not as what Pemberton expected. It was too low, and he was promoting the drink's medicinal benefits, which many companies were doing. Coke wasn't unique. Coca-Cola's new owner. And in 1888, addiction and pain killed John Pemberton. Before Pemberton died, Asa Candler bought the company for $2,300. Candler then bought out all shareholders so he could control the company. Investigations conducted later found some documents had forged signatures. To hide his tracks, Candler burned early company records. By the 1890s, Asa Candler ran Coca-Cola. Candler advertised Coca-Cola literally everywhere. Coca-Cola logos were on barns, billboards, placards everywhere. One of Coke's first marketing geniuses was to contact every local pharmacy, get a list of their top customers, and send them a free Coca-Cola coupon. Free trials create lifelong customers. The company distanced itself from the patent medicine industry, which would later be criticized for its many lies. Coca-Cola's strategy worked. As sales soared, Candler increased advertising and hired actors and athletes to promote the drink. Their success was brought upon by its cheerful, wholesome image, celebrity endorsements, and even Santa Claus. The beverage company also used attractive women with Cokes because sex sells. And they even created a statistical department to analyze supermarket movement and car traffic. Hence, they know where the best advertising spots are. Traditional media like radio and TV helped Coke expand globally too. Coca-Cola spent more on advertising every year and sales grew. But the company's most significant success came from a surprising source. Coke during World War II. Sugar was rationed during World War II, and Coca-Cola absurdly claimed they should be exempt because the beverage was wartime essential. The government agreed, probably because Coca-Cola spent a lot of money lobbying the government. Coca-Cola gained tremendous support because millions of Americans linked Coke and patriotism. Coke ran new wartime ads featuring soldiers holding Coke bottles. They said it would increase American influence and soldiers' morale. And during this time, bottling plants were built on different continents, funded mainly by governments. The soldiers saw Coke as a semblance of home during wartime and became its biggest fans. The US military marketed Coca-Cola that Coke's rapid global expansion was due to wartime deals. And there are only 2 countries where Coke can't be officially sold: Cuba and North Korea. But then again, Coca-Cola supplied Nazi Germany with the beverage during the war. They literally played both sides. And at the time, since most multinationals couldn't sell to Germans anymore, Max Kaff, the head of Coke's largest bottling operation in Germany, had an idea to circumvent these restrictions. He had local chemists make a drink that tasted like Coke but was made from apple fiber scraps instead of Coke syrup, Fanta. By 1955, Coca-Cola was selling Fanta in many countries. And before we go to another Coke controversy, make sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking the red button. Click the notification bell so you'd be notified whenever we release a new video. Coke targeting the kids. To make a person a lifelong Coke customer, start him young. Coke was sold in schools, and schools made money from this. We know that most schools are underfunded. These schools engaged in an exclusive contract with Coke, paying them about $3,000 yearly to carry Coke products. Also, Coke made many collector's items like Barbie dolls, playing cards, board games, delivery trucks, and other toys for both kids and adults. Of course, Christmas ads deliberately link Santa and Coca-Cola in impressionable children's minds. Coke and health issues. In the 1980s, Coke faced many concerns about health issues, obesity, diabetes, and tooth decay. One study found that children drinking one soft drink daily were 60% more likely to be overweight, while another study's results show that babies exposed to high sugar intakes will depend on sugar for life. So the cola company answered by funding a few studies that unsurprisingly found few health risks. Coke's contamination issues. Coca-Cola made Belgian kids sick in 1999, so all Coke products were recalled. Also, France temporarily banned Coke after over 100 people got sick from bad cola. India additionally accused Coke of polluting groundwater with wastewater, and independent tests found traces of toxic sludge produced at the Indian plants. This resulted in the land becoming barren, local animals killed, and local farmers' livelihoods destroyed. Coke's alleged ties to murder. In 2001, Coca-Cola was sued for using death squads to intimidate, kidnap, torture, and kill Colombian workers with ties to a trade union. A few years later, Guatemalan workers at a Coke bottling plant sued the company for violence against them and their families after joining unions. Aside from this, Indonesia, Cambodia, and the Philippines also made human rights violation claims against Coca-Cola. There are too many labor-related concerns, and we must add that Asa Candler even said, "The most beautiful sight that we see is the child at labor," meaning the younger, the more beautiful, the more useful does his life get to be. According to Candler, this can assure that the child will be a noble, useful, competent, laboring grown person. We'll leave this to you to interpret. Coke versus Pepsi. In 1975, the Pepsi Challenge showed that slightly more people preferred Pepsi, and this made Pepsi sales grow. But Coca-Cola began a top-secret formula change. Coke found a new cola formula that outperformed Pepsi and the original Coke in blind taste tests. And just before Coca 100th Cola's anniversary, they replaced the tried and tested formula with the new Coke. After the new drink was released, Coca-Cola received thousands of angry calls and letters daily. People were furious. After 79 days, Coke brought back the original formula called Coca-Cola Classic. Coke had doubled Pepsi sales 6 months after Coke Classic rolled out. To promote the third season of Netflix's Stranger Things, Coca-Cola announced in 2019 that the 1985 reformulation would be limited to 500,000 cans and sold online, and the comeback had a more positive review than the 1985 fiasco. Coke spent about $193 million on advertising in 2021, compared to Pepsi's $114 million. And the net income in the same year was $9.7 billion compared to Pepsi's $7.6 billion. And this shows that the company with too many dark secrets will go on its tried and tested advertising formula. If it works, it works. See you in our next video, and always remember, Invictus Luxury, for people who want more.